All right, so if you want to get a leg up on your competition, if you're, say, in a multiple offer situation and you want to get that investment deal, this is going to be a good video for you. We're going to talk about the 10 things that you can negotiate on in a real estate contract besides price. Make sure to like and subscribe. Let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so the first one is closing date. You need to find out what the seller wants. Do they want a shorter escrow or do they want a longer escrow? Maybe they're finding a replacement property to exchange into. Whatever the situation is, if you can find out what the seller wants and give it to them, you can get a leg up on your competition and you don't have to increase the purchase price of the property. However, you may need to act more quickly if they want a shorter escrow. Let's say it's 10 days or 15 days, so be prepared for that, but that's the first one that you can negotiate on besides price. Number two, you can negotiate on contingencies. Typically, the seller's going to want to see a shorter time frame as far as contingency. So this will be loan contingency if you're getting a loan. This could be appraisal contingency. This could be the inspection contingency. The shorter time frame you have for in contingencies, it usually means that you're more aggressive in your offer, you're more sure of your offer, sure of the property that you're making an offer on, and also indicates strength in the offer. It means that there's less time frame for you dilly-dallying around in escrow. So shorten up those contingencies typically is a way to strengthen up your offer. So the third thing that you can negotiate on in a sales contract for real estate is the type of financing. So FHA is going to be different than conventional. It's going to be different than hard money, private money, cash. It's going to give you different opportunities as far as length of escrow, etc., and whether or not you can waive certain contingencies. So if you are, let's say, in an FHA or a VA and you can transition over into a conventional and to make your offer stronger, that could be one way that you make your offer stronger. Let's say they're looking for cash offers and you can make a private money loan, then that can be a great way as well. So number three, those financing terms. So the fourth thing that you can negotiate on specifically for investment property, if there are tenants in there, is whether or not the tenants are needing to be vacated before the close of escrow or the tenants can remain in possession. In some cases, and you need to find out from the seller, in some cases the tenants remaining in possession will be easier for the seller because they don't have to go through the eviction process. That can get a little dicey sometimes, but it does put you in a little bit more of a risky position to take on tenants that you don't choose yourself. However, it could be a good thing if the tenants are good, so make sure that you do some kind of a review of the tenants' situation. Make sure they're good tenants for you and your new property. But that's one thing that you can negotiate on, tenants in possession for the real estate purchase, and find out whether or not the seller is looking to sell with the tenants in place or if they're open to sell vacant. All right, so number five that you can negotiate on would be the closing costs. Now, closing costs might include some of the following here: agent fees, title insurance, transfer tax, or escrow. So these are all terms that you can negotiate on in the contract, and they might not add up to a whole lot, but each individual item can add more weight to your offer if other aspects are the same. So don't forget that the closing costs are another aspect that you can negotiate on in a sales contract that might put you over the edge and get that offer accepted. Another one you can negotiate on is home warranty. Now, this is not going to be a huge amount, might be $500, $600, $700 depending on the property size and the number of units. However, it can be one more thing, again, that can put you over the edge and get you in first place to get accepted versus last place, which is going to be offer 2, 3, 4, or 5. Doesn't matter. If you're last, you're last. If you're not, first. So that's another thing. Negotiate on those the home warranty, and that can be another way that you can be a little bit stronger in your offer. Repairs. This is another one that you can negotiate on that the seller may like, especially if it's an older, more dilapidated property that requires some TLC, so to speak. So if you communicate to the seller that you are waiving your request for repairs, maybe you're taking it as is, that can be another great way to remove some of the hassle from the seller, especially if they've owned the property for a while. They don't want to do all those repairs. So you can say, hey, we'll take the property as is, and oftentimes in many cases, this can beat out other offers that are higher in price because there's just less hassle. So if you take as is, make sure that you do your due diligence on that, because you're adding more risk to yourself. But maybe you've seen all the reports and you feel confident moving forward, or you know a contractor, or you are a contractor. But make sure that you are willing to take on this extra risk, but taking as is and waiving the inspections or not asking for those repairs can be a great way to really get yourself from number 2 or 3 offer consideration to number 1. So another thing that you can negotiate on would be the credits. So you can ask for credits to help pay down your closing costs, or to pay down your loan fees and get a better rate on the loan. So in some cases, you may want to increase the purchase price and get those more of those credits, or you may want to decrease the purchase price and not have any credits. But that's one aspect of a real estate purchase contract you can negotiate on, and it's a great way, and I oftentimes recommend it, to split out the overall cost. So let's say you're buying a triplex for $1 million, and you want to offer 900. Instead of offering 900, let's say you offer 950, and you're looking for, let's say, 50,000 in credits towards your closing costs. Now that may not all be available, so you have to check with your lender as far as how much of the closing costs you can pay. But that can be a great way to split things up a little bit, so that you are not just all focused on the price. All right, so 2 more things that you're able to negotiate on as a buyer buying property. So let's say, and this is specifically for investors, maybe you're purchasing a property that has the seller remaining living there, right? So maybe it's a duplex or a triplex or a quadplex. Maybe the seller lives in one of the units and they are renting out the other units. Whatever the situation is, if the seller is in possession, you can allow for the seller to remain in possession for a longer period of time. Maybe they're looking for a replacement property, maybe they're looking for a rental, maybe they just need more time to move. This can be a great way to add to your offer by adding that in there, allowing the seller to remain in possession past the close of escrow. Now it depends if it's 7 to 30 days. Anything under 30 days is a different type of a contract versus past 30 days. It gets more complicated after 30 days, but that can be a great way, again, to add that extra value to your offer, seller to remain in possession. All right, so the last one, number 10, that you can negotiate on: items left on the property. So let's say you're purchasing a property, you're making an offer on a property, and there's maybe tractors, or maybe there's vehicles, maybe there's some debris. If the seller, especially if they're older, or maybe they aren't able to take care of those items themselves, or whatever the situation is, it can be a great way to increase the value of your offer. If you're already going to go through a dump run and you say, hey, look, we're already going to take care of some of these items, we already have to go through the property and with our contractor and gut the place, we're going to take out the cabinets, we're going to toss them, we'll take care of all of those left items there. Maybe there's an old couch in the yard, whatever it is. If you say, hey, we'll take care of those items, that can be a huge burden lifted off the seller, and again, can make a difference in your offer. Those are the top things that you can negotiate on in a real estate contract besides price. If you're interested in learning more, or you'd like to reach out to myself and my team, talk about your real estate goals, especially investing here on the Central Coast of California, we're happy to assist you with that. If you found this information useful, give us a like. We really appreciate it. It does a lot for this channel. Subscribe if you haven't already, and until next time, take care.